Trump did something I thought was to be commended. And a lot of people are really ticked off about it. And I don't see why. So we're going to talk about this Trump executive order that he did concerning the stimulus package. Not necessarily the stimulus package, but the unemployment extension. We're going to start here. Trump signs executive order saying it will extend unemployment benefits and defer payroll taxes. Now, that is good. I know y'all mad. I know it's not the 600 that you expect, but it is good because currently speaking, the Democratic House and Senate, the Republican House and Senate, they're in this quagmire. They're in this stalemate. Neither one of them want to budge. And yes, I believe everybody should get $600 if they're unemployed on top of what they get. But, you know, that's a chunk of money. You're getting $350 unemployment, you get a $600 on top of that. That's $950 a week. $950 a week. Now, to some people in New York, that ain't going to mean anything. But somebody in Coleraine, North Carolina, $950 a week is a lot of money, dog. It's a lot of money. So the Republicans thinking, oh, we're incentivizing these people not to go to work. So we got to do something to get them to go back to work. Because contrary to what you think, a lot of cities are open to going back to work. Some people are essential. And to me, in the Republican proposal, they want to pay those who go back to work. Democratic Republic proposal is not necessarily that way. But let's get into this. Trump is getting, he don't even know what he's signing. Watch this. Watch this.
Okay, so this is for the authorization of other needs assistance program, major disasters declaration related to the coronavirus disease.
I don't know if you can hear this.
Okay, got it? Okay.
Wow.
So this is authority invested in me. This is the payment relief during the COVID-19 pandemic. This is fighting the spread of the COVID-19 by providing assistance to renters and homeowners. We're doing assistance.
Now, I want you to hear that. Providing assistance to renters and homeowners. So you tell me Trump did an executive order to freeze rent across the board? Well, we'll see. Negro got a Sharpie. Look how you looking at it.
And this is deferral payroll tax obligations. So this is your payroll tax obligations, which we're going to end up terminating eventually, right?
All right, so does this mean that
we're thinking about
you
our
don't
hands
have to
more than ever?
do your payroll taxes
America's
or something?
factories,
Give me a
power
moment. All this
plants,
stuff popping up, all this
transportation,
crap.
hospitals all need technology.
All right, so let's go ahead and get to this story. President Donald Trump has bypassed the nation's lawmakers as he claimed the authority to defer payroll taxes and replace expired unemployment benefits with a lower amount after negotiations with Congress on a new coronavirus rescue package collapsed. Now, I don't know if it's collapsed. I don't know if it's stalled. All I know is right now to this date, they have not come to a deal. In the meantime, people, it's a new month, baby. People got rent. The rent is due. Car payment is due. Baby need a new pair of shoes. Jesus gonna work it out, but come on. I mean, bills got to be paid. And while the House and the Senate, the Democrats and Republicans are sitting up there paying tit for tat, pulling on each other's rope or choking each other's chain, the president comes in and do this. All right, let's keep reading. Trump orders on Saturday encroach on Congress' control of federal spending and seem likely to be met with legal challenges. The president cast his actions as necessary, given that lawmakers have been unable to reach an agreement to plunge more money into the stumbling economy, which has imperiled his November reelection. Now, before I go to the next paragraph, understand this, Trump right now, he knows he needs to get reelected. And I don't think Trump had a problem with extending the full 600. I don't really think it was a big deal to him, but I believe the Republicans pushed him to try to see it as a big deal. But I don't think he saw it as a big deal. I don't know. I believe Mitt Romney, somebody told him that, look, the more money you put into people's pocket, the more it'll stimulate the economy. That is the reason why Wall Street haven't collapsed fully, is because people are spending money. And let me tell you something. You put some money in people's hands, it will vitalize this country economically. Every time you put money into people's hand, it boosts the economy. Don't put no money in people's hand, the economy is going to go down to crap. Now, let me keep reading. Trump moved to continue paying to supplement federal unemployment benefits for millions of Americans out of work during the outbreak. However, his so-called order for up to $400 payment each week, 1/3 less than $600. We're going to talk about that. I mean, I love the $600. I mean, if I was able to get the $600, man, I would be all in. But look, I'm not going to be a pissant over $400 on top of what I supposed to be getting in my unemployment. No, them fools don't know what to do with our money. Them fools probably could tell. I mean, let me keep going. I'm sorry. No, people have been receiving. How many people would receive the benefit and how long it may take to arrive were open questions. The previous unemployment benefit, which expired August 1st, was fully funded by Washington, but Trump is asking states to now cover 25%. He is seeking to set aside $44 billion in previous approved disaster aid to help the states, but said it would be up to the states to determine how much, if any of it, to fund, so the benefits could be smaller still. In other words, Trump didn't want to go the full way, even with the 600. Even with the 400, he didn't want to go full. He's trying to put most of the weights on the states that's struggling right now because of coronavirus. That part is not okay. Many states already face budget shortfalls due to the coronavirus pandemic and would have difficulty assuming the new obligation. Trump hopes the 4 executive orders he signed will signal to Americans that he is acting where Congress will not to act to address economic fallout from the COVID-19 pandemic, which has upended nearly all aspects of American life. It's unclear what the economic impact of his action will be, and of his orders do not address several areas that have been part of the congressional negotiations, including funding for schools and states and local government. House Speaker Nancy Pelosi, Senate Majority Leader Chuck Schumer dismissed Trump action as meager in the face of economic and health crisis facing Americans. Democrats initially saw a $3.4 trillion package, but said they lowered their ask in talks to $2 trillion. Republicans have proposed a $1 trillion plan. All right, so Democratic Party came down with their negotiations. Republicans are sticking to their guns with the $1 trillion. Democrats decide to settle. They punked out for 2, because they ain't got to worry about it. They got to check. It's for you. They don't see the sense of urgency. They don't see the sense of urgency unless their seats is up for grab. So according to them, it's meager. Trump Democratic opponent in the presidential race, Joe the Bigot Biden, called the orders a series of half-baked measures and accused him of putting at risk Social Security, which is funded by the payroll tax. Oh, Jesus, Joe, shut up. Trump embrace of executive action is sidestep Congress ran in a sharp contrast to his criticism of former Barack Obama's use of executive orders on a more limited basis. Though Trump cast it as a necessary step given the deterioration of congressional negotiation. The president himself was not an active participant in those talks. The orders will take care of pretty much this entire situation as we know it, Trump said, despite the fact that they're far smaller in scope than congressional legislations, and even the aides acknowledged they didn't meet all the needs. In addition to the extension of the unemployment benefit, Trump orders called for a deferral payroll tax and federal student loans payments and efforts to halt eviction. The eviction executive order directs the Treasury and Housing and Urban Development Department to identify funds to provide financial assistance to those struggling to pay their monthly rent. Now, my thing is, this is a good thing. Deferring just means putting off for now. Sooner or later, you're going to pick it up. It's not canceling. He's not canceling student loan payments. That would be better. Cancel eviction and have people start over from that moment, and give some kind of subsidy to the homeowner would be a better program. Subsidy to the homeowner, wipe the slate for the person who's paying the rent where they don't have to pay anything. And then when the crisis is over, then you go back to the month that you in to start paying. In other words, let the government pay the landlord your rent. Let the government pay the landlord your rent until this crisis is over with. I think the eviction executive order is a good thing. I think it's done kind of stalely, but it is something better than nothing. Deferring the payroll tax. Okay, we don't, dealing with the payroll tax. You can hold back on my taxes because, look, most folks are not working. And the folks that are working, you got to give them some kind of incentive. And again, the student loan payment. Halting the student loan payment is huge, especially in this situation right now, because that student loan payment is a beast. Trump said the employee portion of the payroll tax will be deferred from August 1st through the end of the year. Now, Trump, why you can't do that with the extra $400 to $600 a month? Why you couldn't just extend it to $600 for the rest of the year? Once again, Trump said the employee portion of payroll tax will be deferred to August 1st. So he'll rather give us that than the $600. The move would not directly aid unemployment workers who do not pay the taxes when they are jobless, and employees would need to repay the federal government eventually without an act of Congress. You hear that? The move would not directly aid unemployed workers who do not pay the tax when they're jobless. And employees would need to repay the federal government eventually without an act of Congress. Now, that's not set in stone. They're assuming. In essence, the deferral is an interest-free loan that would have to be repaid. Trump said he'll try to get lawmakers to extend it, and the time would line up with the post-election lame duck session in which Congress will try to pass a government-funded bill. If I win, I may extend and terminate, Trump said, repeating a long-time goal but remaining silent on how he'd fund the Medicare and Social Security benefit that the 7% tax on employees' income covers. Employers also pay 7.65% of their payroll into the funds. Senate Majority Leader Mitch McConnell, Republican from Kentucky, we'll talk about him later, issued a statement saying he supported Trump exploring his option to get unemployment benefits and other relief to the people who need them the most. Like Trump, McConnell accused Democrats of using coronavirus package negotiation to pursue other goals. The Democratic chairman of the tax writing House Ways and Means Committee, Representative Richard E. Neal of Massachusetts, accused Trump of brazenly circumventing Congress to institute a tax policy that destabilized Social Security. He also cited a threat to Medicare funding. The use of executive action drew criticism from Republican Senator Ben Sasse of Nebraska, the pen and phoning theory of executive lawmaking and unconstitutional slop, said Sasse, a member of the Senate Judiciary and Financial Panel. He added that Trump does not have the power to unilaterally rewrite the payroll tax law under the Constitution. That power belongs to the American people acting through the member of Congress. Now, with no deal, On virus relief in sight, lawmakers went home on Friday with instructions to be ready to return for a vote on an agreement. A stalemate that could stretch well into August and even September was possible, casting doubt on the ability of the Trump administration and Democrats to come together on the fifth COVID-19 response bill. Often an impasse in Washington is little consequences for the public. But this would mean more hardship for millions of people who are losing enhanced jobless benefits and causing further damage to the economy. Schumer said the White House had rejected an offer by Pelosi to curb Democrats' demand by about $1 trillion. Schumer urged the White House to negotiate with the Democrats and meet us in the middle. Don't say it's your way or no way. The breakdown in negotiations over the last several days were particularly distressing for schools trying to reopen, but other priorities were also languishing, including a fresh round of 1,200 direct payments to most people in cash infusions for the struggling postal service and money to help state hold elections in November. Senate Republicans were split, with roughly half of McConnell's rank and file opposed to another rescue bill. All right, so look, the bottom line is the man did something. I'm not a fan of Trump. As you can tell, I'm not. I don't waste my time talking about him because I expect him to do worse. I expect the Democrats who are supposed to be about democracy to do better, but they don't. They do just as bad as he do. That's why this mocking back and forth. I look at all you fools the same. You all are tyrants. You all are egotistical. You don't care about people. And anytime you're in a stalemate to the point where the president have to come in and say, look, I'm not going to let these people keep going by without something coming in. I'll do the 400 on top of the unemployment. Now, him messing with the payroll tax, he could defer it, but he has to come out with money from the federal government to replace that money that's supposed to go into the Social Security system. Because right now, payroll taxes have its purpose. But also payroll taxes in this particular time can help out a whole lot for a person who's working one job and probably had his hours cut and need all the money he can. He probably can't get unemployment. They probably got him right at the 35-hour where he can't get unemployment. He's not considered part-time. He don't have any benefits. So the payroll tax being deferred is a good thing to him at the moment, but to know that you got to pay it back later on. Well, Trump talking about, well, I might dismiss it if you reelect me. I may dismiss it. Dude, you need to dismiss it now. Stop. We're struggling out here. If you're not going to give us the $600, don't you dare roll back the taxes and then say, if you reelect me, I may cancel it. How about cancel everything, Doc? Cancel student debt. Let's make health care available for everybody in this country without any cost. That was one of your promises, dude. What's up with the $1,000 check? What's up with the $1,200 check? How come you didn't put that in there? You put in there, okay, I'm going to give you around, I'm going to continue your money coming through. Fine. And look, I accept that. People got to pay bills, and we can't wait for these nutwings on Capitol Hill to come to agreement. It may be 2, 3, 4, 5 more weeks of them acting like buttholes, not coming to the agreement, and people sitting there losing their home, losing their cars. God, man, I wouldn't even want a car payment right now. I'd take my little stimulus money or whatever and just buy a used car. You're going to lose a whole lot, and these folks know you're going to lose a whole lot, and they'll scream across each other in the halls of Congress, but never come up to agreement. In the meantime, they going home eating steak. They go home in a $5,000 refrigerator getting $100 ice cream, $50, $25. I don't care what it is. And I'm not talking about Nancy Pelosi. I'm talking about all of them. Rich Republicans, rich Democrats. I'm talking about all of them. They're okay. They got a health care. They get tested for coronavirus. It don't cost them a dime. And a lot of them been tested, a lot of them positive, and it don't cost me a dime. And secretly, I believe a lot of them are taking the very medication that they're trying to tell you cannot take. And can anybody tell me, if you know anybody in the military that have caught COVID, let me know. Just let me know, because for some reason I don't think the number's that big in the military. Anyway, Trump. I'm done with this story. Trump, President Trump. Some people call him Orange Orangutan. Some people call him the Orange Man. Somebody call him Orange Juice Jones. Trump is doing whatever he can to, he's doing whatever he can to make sure money get in people's hands. I can't hate the man for that. You can hate him. I can't, because at least he's doing something while these nutwings sit here and don't do a doggone thing for you. And that's just not good at all. So, Trump, I told you I'd give you props when you do something good, even if it's halfway good. At least you were willing to push. Now, what's going to happen now is they're going to use this as an excuse to not do anything. Trump ain't do that for you not do anything. Number one, you can always veto. Trump can veto. You can always deal with an executive order. You can pull back executive order. Executive order is not final authority. Okay. Second, you still can go in there and pass a bill. You can still go in there and pass a bill for the 600. You still can do it. And you still can pass a bill for the stimulus check. And you can pass it for 2,000. You can still make health care available for all COVID patients at no dime. So don't use Trump passing, doing an executive order to put money in people's pocket as an excuse for you not to get your butt out there and work. Get your butt out there and work.